going.
Go.
All right, so the first thing we're looking at right here is the entrance of the beehive. We're going to open it up today to check out the health of the hive. Two things we're paying attention to here that are fascinating. There are guard bees here, little bees checking out who's coming in the hive. If it's not your bee, let's see if we can get close up on him. He's going to feel everybody, he's going to check everybody out, and if it's not a bee from this hive, they're going to kick him out, there's going to be a fight. There's other bees, so that's one kind of bee, the guard bees. Other bees, see these guys over here, flapping his wings like crazy? This one right next to him, flapping his wings like crazy. They're doing one of two things. They're either going to try to cool the hive down because this is a temperature box in here. They're trying to control the humidity. They bring nectar in. Right now these bees are so laden with nectar they can barely fly. Some of them you'll see will fall and miss the landing. But these other bees are controlling the temperature and the air current in there. Or the second thing they're doing is they're releasing a pheromone in the air for other bees to smell, right, to know where their home is. That's how the bees find their way back home again, for new bees that are coming out. But all these bees coming back, they can carry their body weight of nectar and pollen. That's what they eat. Here's our first honeybee. So all the front of the hive is just amazing. Right? This is a beekeeper's best friend, is a fire, getting the smoke ready. Got guest beekeeper Reed Woolette helping out today, chilling. Fire looks easy, but it's not always so easy. What the smoke's going to do is disrupt the pheromones, so when the bees get angry, this confuses them and makes them not so angry anymore. While you get some, I'm going to go put my stuff on. Let's get out of there.
Have you gotten stung yet?
No, it's coming though. It's coming, I'm sure.
Will he steal the honey?
What's that?
Will he try to eat the honey?
Honeybee? No, he doesn't like honey. He doesn't like honey.
It's going. Nice slow burn.
You know, I think you let kids. I think your sister's named Honeybee. I got him when I was in Denver, I believe.
I remember one time we slept over your house and Phelps attacked me. He bit me like 4 times.
He was a kitten, and that's why. Oh, I need a Brian, will you grab? Oh, never mind. I'm gonna grab it.
I can get it. I think this part we might edit anyway.
You can close that down. That's it.
Just getting everybody who's here.
I just tried to take a drink.
Whoops.
All right, so this is our second or third. We'll call it our third. I did a little maintenance last week. I added another deep super on. So once again, the first thing we're going to do is do a little smoking action just to calm them down. Get some smoke in the hive. Calms everybody down. Okay, as we're going to work, the bees are going to be not too happy with me. So the first thing I want to do, that's my supply here, is I added this super on. So let's just do a quick check to see if they've been building on. I did this as an emergency effort because the bees, they were filling up the first deep box. And I'm just looking around, they're not really doing anything here for us. So here, I added some frames in here. I might replace some of these frames. I don't think they're really building on them. They're not. So these frames are just kind of useless right now. So I just did a few frames up. I put some wax on them. We'll do the same with these. I'll keep these here for now. I've noticed before that bees are going to tend to build a frame here better, put their comb down, if I put a little wax furnishing here. So let's hope this helps a little bit. So we didn't expect them to do anything really with these. We just put these in as a placeholder to give them more room down low. Well, they're actually starting to work. Reed, if you can look in here, they're actually starting to build in here a little bit. So if you look in there, they're starting to fill in the combs, to put a little wax in right in there. Beautiful. Kind of interesting, right? We're going to see a lot more activity on this one. I put this one up from down below. They already built it up. So let's take this out. Let's take a look at what they're doing here. Now we're starting to see some stuff. So this is the Flow Hive. Most people aren't familiar with the Flow Hive. I've noticed, I've talked to a lot of people, there's a lot of misinformation about Flow Hives out there. Flow Hives are just a way to let the beekeeper spend less time trying to extract honey, more time taking care of their bees. And I think that's important to remember. You still have to take very good care of your bees. Our goal for this hive is to try to get these bees to winter over the, just to get over the winter. So let's see if they've done any work on here. I just put these in for more storage for them. What they're eventually going to do is they're going to start, which they are right now, they're going to start to fill in all those gaps with wax. Once they seal all these cups, they're going to then start filling them with honey. So you can see two right here are already doing that. They're putting wax in right here. They're deep into that little comb. If we have a good flow of nectar, this will get filled up pretty quick. I don't expect that right now, but I know that there's a good amount of clover out there. I don't know if I can go into the light here a little bit for you. I don't know what you can see here.
That's fine.
That's coming along pretty nice. We have to be a little careful because I don't have actually I do have a queen excluder, so there will be no queen on this. So just busy bees working. We'll let them go to it. They're gonna start from the inside frames to out. And I'm very happy to see they're working very hard right now, so that's good to see. Here is where we can really see some activity happening, and I already see something that I have to be concerned about. I see that they've created a queen cup. So this is going to be very interesting. A queen cup means something's happened either to their queen or they're thinking about swarming. We don't want either one of those to happen. So let's see what's happening here. I'm going to give them a little puff of honey here. I'm not very happy with them here. We'll calm them down a little bit.
Your things are fine.
So let's see what's happening here. This is heavy. This must weigh 2 or 3 or 4 pounds already. I don't think it's full though. But here's what we're starting to look at here. You don't want to crush any of these. So here, I'm not sure. We've got some larvae here, but they've capped one of these. I don't know if they're making drones with this larva. This is interesting. So if we can look here, do you see that cup in the middle?
No.
Right to the left. They're standing on it right now. It's really cupped off. You'll notice surrounding that cup is a lot of brood. Those are a lot of larvae, right? They're feeding them. They capped one of them. Normally they only cap that heavy if it's like a drone, or I'm not really sure what's going on there. So that's good to see, but you can see this is full of honey right now. This is very laden with honey. How's the lighting? Is the lighting okay?
Good.
Same thing here. So there was some brood that they stored up here. That's all been hatching, and they've been substituting honey. So we have to be careful. That's a new comb, so I have to be exceptional. I'm gonna put that right back in there. All right, we don't want that to happen. I need to remember this is new comb they just built on their own, not foundation. So new comb is fragile. And then if we look over here, they're doing the same for this one. Usually we don't take these out like we are. You'll always hear me talk about the propolis. The propolis is the bee glue. If there's any gaps in here, they're going to try to close that gap with glue. They like things nice together. that very much. They're already starting to fill these. This is pretty amazing. So this is getting full. So this right now is getting filled with honey. That means they're capping and sealing this stuff off. They haven't capped it, but you can see them working heavy right now. When I smoke them, just so you know what's happening, it's causing a little panic. They're gonna go eat some honey because they don't know if there's fire, they have to escape. But they're gonna calm down by kind of bloating themselves with honey. That's what they're doing right now, but they're filling this up pretty nicely. I didn't expect that. Nothing else really happening here. Kind of interesting to see how those flow frames work though. You can see there's one bee right there who's getting right in there. They're getting to the very, these are pretty deep. It's right in there, it's filling that with wax. All of these you can see have been waxed off. You can actually see that if you get up close there, that these have been waxed off and sealed, and then they'll cap it next. Okay. So far, I'm glad so last week I put this box on because the bottom box was so full, I was worried about them. They didn't have any room to grow. This is another new frame that they've started to fill. They haven't quite done as much work as I'd want here. I want them to fill this up totally. I think that they're seeing they don't need to because they have all this other room to store honey. So I'll be very fragile. This is new comb. Last time we swatched this video, I broke one of these by mistake. Totally full of honey though. Very amazing. That's how they build fresh comb from one of those foundations that I just put in. It's amazing. We'll be very careful. We won't go any weird angles with this because it's such, the wax that they build. So if somebody asked me how they get the wax, bees have 4 little glands on there right behind their wings that produce wax. So one of their jobs is to produce wax. They'll go up to another bee. That bee will take the wax off and start building with it. It's amazing. Doing some good work in here. Okay, so I'm going to put this back. Now we're going to take this whole box off. I'm going to put it back together again though. And I might take this. I might rearrange the order again. I might take this and move where we're going to locate it. Put these 2 frames right together. And they're pretty good though. Everything needs to be nice and tight together. So we're going to drop this right in here, nice and straight. I think they'll continue to build straight. I think they're doing a nice job right now. Okay. What have I left out? Did I take a frame out? Nope, everything's in there. Except for one frame, I think. Nice and tight together, so no space between. If you put space between, they'll start building cross comb. We saw that last time. We don't want cross comb. Just gets messy, can leak into the hive. We don't want that. This one's backwards. Yeah, these flow frames are amazing. They just make it so you have more time to spend taking care of your bees, looking for a disease, looking for anything. Less time having to worry about extracting the honey. Spending more time caretaking is always a good thing. Nice and tight, nice and tight. It's funny, bee work is something that you have to be very slow to do. I'm usually a very impatient, fast-moving person, so it's a good exercise. So we're going to put one of these new frames in that has a little bit of wax on it to see if we can get them to start working. And you know what? I might actually put this right in the, no, I'm going to keep this on the edge. If they don't, we're going to take these out eventually anyway, and we're going to replace them with a different deep box as soon as that comes in. So for right now, we'll leave it be. Pardon the pun. It's really tight fitting. There it is. Okay, so let's put you back on. So So now we're going to get down to the base box.
Wait, a little board.
Yep, we'll put that in too. That's okay if we put that on next. All right, make sure nobody gets squished. All right, so far so good. So I'm going to move this now to the table. Okay, this might be a little bit. Going to be some bees coming out on this one. So we'll let that stay. So here's where the action's at now. This is a queen excluder. We don't want the queen getting up to that top box. That's bad news. We got to get all these guys, these ladies off of here. Let's get all those. Okay, so let's take this off. You can see they've already started to do a little cementing of their propolis. And hear it kind of crack as I pull this off. A little bit of cross comb they're building here too. So this keeps the queen down below. So we know the queen's not up top right now. Keep that right here for now. They can come and go as they need to. So now we have to be careful again. We don't want to lose the queen. She's in there hopefully doing a good job laying eggs. The whole reason for these inspections is we want to make sure that we still have good brood. So we're going to do something similar like we did last time. We're going to clean these up a little bit. I put 3 new frames in here last time because I needed more room. There was no room. They had 9 of these frames built out and they had no place to go. So let's see how we're doing. And I wish I should have labeled them. This is my rookie mistake. I didn't label which ones I put in new. I think we're about to find out though. Those are nicely together. Alright, so we're looking for a marked queen. I don't know if Reed's seen a queen before, but I'll have my videographer help me look for these. Queens can do whatever they want to do, but this is, once again, this is all fresh comb that they just built from scratch, very soft. So we have to be very cautious with this. This is pretty light. Those top ones that I just removed were pretty heavy, which tells me there's probably a lot of honey on them. I don't like I squished one little bee there. I don't like that. So we want to be very gentle with this. Lots of honey. Probably starting to see is pollen, but you can see pretty nicely built out, nice and smooth frame. So there's no queen that I see on this. That's what I'm looking for right now, is a queen. We don't want to lose the queen. We don't want her to run off. We want her to always be able to come right back home again. So we're going to rest this. We don't see a queen on there. Just double check. Looks pretty good, pretty full of honey. So we're going to rest this right here for now. So, give the bees a chance to get off. Okay. So now for the remainder frames. That one's pretty good. That one's 3/4 full. They're building pretty fast in here, so. Now when we get to these darker colored frames, these are ones that came with the hive to begin with. This was a nucleus. This one's still a new one I'm pulling out right now. So this might be one of the new ones I just installed last week. Within a week's time, there's been a lot of activity out here. They've been building like crazy. And I just hope the queen's laying eggs like crazy. They're pretty calm right now. Not a lot of smoke yet. Be very cautious with these. Brand new comb again. So now I'm looking for larvae in there or looking for honey. Normally the outside ones have a lot of honey in it. That's what I'm seeing here. So we'll turn this around. That's gentle. When these get heavy with honey, there's a queen. Queen's right on your side with a dot on her. See her? Mm-hmm. So there's the queen. She's busy there. Let me check that side to see if she's busy laying eggs or what she's busy doing over here. So here, she'll start by laying an egg. The egg will be upright at the very base of the cell, and that egg will stay there for 3 or 4 days. That egg will then fall over, the shell will dissolve. I don't see eggs in here, just honey. So she's just kind of wandering around. Let's put her back in. But notice how elongated her body is. If she didn't have that mark, it would be very important to be able to locate her quickly. She really is. You'll see the other queen, the other bees are attending to her. So she's just checking out what options are for laying. So let's see. So she might be losing space here, which we want them to build more space for her. Store the honey up top. That's ideal for her. She's looking for space right now, possibly. Put you back in. All right, so that's pretty good looking. So these frames here, these are the older frames. We have nicely cemented them together. It's always amazing to me to see the work that they do in a week's time. They're pretty passive. They're getting a little upset with me right now, but not too bad. Seem to have a smoke issue. I have my cameraman making some noise. This is pretty heavy. So my fear is that they're packing all these. This is one of the foundations. It's just full. It's filled with honey. It's filled with nectar. Looks like a little capped brood as well. Yep, so capped. I don't see. Look here. So I see a lot of pollen packed in here. I see some brood, so that's all capped brood in the middle. If you look right where that bee's shaking in the middle. So we need a better direction of where. So those bees are working around brood. That's all brood that's ready to be capped. When queens lay eggs, they go in a circle. They start in the center and then they build around. But I see some larvae in here. It's not capped. That tells me that queen's been laying here within the last week. At 12 days, they'll cap it and it'll turn into a pupate and start to forming like a chrysalis, like a butterfly, and it'll stay in that for the next 11 days. On day 21, it will hatch. If they're raising a queen, the queen only takes 16 days until she hatches. They need her in production quick. That's usually an emergency situation. So now we're going to go look. We're going to see this new frame I put in. So all this new comb I put in over here, we're going to take a look at. I can see that they're building. That's good. They're not building as fast as I'd like them to because I want space for the eggs. Let's see if I can get this out. So this is brand new comb that's being built. But like I said, not very rapidly right now. You can see how white this wax is. That is fresh wax. We'll be very careful with this wax. So they're starting to build. Very fragile with that, but they're filling it with honey. They just need stores. That's why they're building, that's why they're storing up top. I want them to leave this ideally empty, but normally on the ends they'll fill this with honey. Should have made more room for that. Nice and straight though. We like to see straight comb being built. That's excellent. So they're storing lots of nectar. We just want more brood. Just want more brood production. We're looking pretty good. I'm going to just separate these so we can get over there. This all looks good. Let's take a look over here. So these are normally nursery bees in the center here. This is normally where the queen lays. And we'll see, once I check over here, we'll see how she's doing. These are in nice and tight. I don't see any cross comb like we saw last time. There's definitely lots of propolis though. So there is some, they are getting a little bit really fat comb in here. So these are the new comb that they're building. That's what we want as status today. Let's check this out. Okay. Alright, so let's see what we have. I'm gonna stick a little bit. This is heavy, so I know that there's honey in here. Little cross comb, I should clean that up again. They're doing the cross comb again. I don't want to see cross comb. Cross comb just gets a little bit messy, that's all. Okay, let's be gentle with this. That's nice and heavy, that's very heavy. Brand new comb, beautiful. I've got some brood in here, so I can see I've got some brood. Let's position this. We want to get rid of that cross comb on the end here. That's not good. So let's see what's in here. So you can see all that bottom capped, that's all brood. So those are all larvae. They're about probably 8 to 10 days old. So she's been laying rapidly. So here it tells me we do have a problem. Those are either queen cups that they're building. So I think some of these are really big. Drone are unfertilized bees. And I think they're just building in strange dimensions right now, which I'm just not used to seeing. Yep, all this is comb here. Let me take a look at this side. Same over on this side. So once again, we have some good brood over here. When that next box comes, it's going to be wide open for them. So I think I'll leave it be. They're doing a good job building. I see they're a little bit wonky with some of their comb building, but I'm going to let that go for right now until I get my second box in. And then we're going to try to reposition everything and put new frames up top that they can kind of put some new fresh frame down here. To give them the opportunity to start putting more room for brood. We just need more room for brood. Alright, so that's good. So let's pack this tight again. I've got one more frame to fit in here, so I've got to make this tight again. So the idea is if you leave anything more than like 1/16 of an inch between the frames, that's when they start getting a little bit sideways. Yeah, I'm just not liking this. I think I do have to clean this up a little bit. Sorry, girls. Most beekeepers don't even wear gloves. That's the crazy thing. So good brood. I think we're good. I don't think there's anything crazy going on. Maybe I should look at those middle frames. kind of second guessing what they're doing in here. Just I saw when they're building their own frame, they build at their own specifications. And you're always making sure that they're not getting ready to swarm, I guess. Because if they feel like they're crowded, they might decide to swarm. That we don't want. Same here. So I can handle these a little bit more readily. So lots of brood around the edges here. So she's laying it. That actually, this is full of brood. That's really good. This whole frame is full of brood. That queen's been working hard. So this is going to be all baby bees here, come anywhere from 10 days to 20 days. Lots of new bees coming out. Hopefully by then we'll have our new frame. We'll put the second box on. All right. Let's put you in here. I don't like when I drop them down there by mistake. Come here, girls. Come here, girls. Alright, so let's push these back together again. Which one's to move? That needs to move. Make these nice and tight, nice and level, nice and tight. They're still being pretty passive right now. I'm doing a lot of work in here. Nobody's getting squished, so nobody's getting panicked. When you squish, they let out a pheromone too. These bees you see they're crawling right up. This is kind of interesting to read. Because I put that on the ground, they don't like being away. They're crawling up towards the hive again. They want to be back into the hive. So we'll remedy that here in a second. Space for this frame. It's tight in here. You see my problems. It's pretty far away. But you notice they just want to get back in the hive right now. They know the queen's in there. The queen's releasing a pheromone. Everybody just wants to be back in. Everybody is now back in. There we go. Everybody's back in. Okay, so I think that was pretty successful. These girls are going to climb back in. They want to get back to their queen. We're going to put that queen excluder back on. Their little butts in the air. They're doing that to let the other bees know how to get back home. They're releasing their scent to say the hive's here, come here. So, we're going to put this back together. We're going to put this is a queen excluder going back on. So that's back on nicely. They're fanning like crazy, saying, here's where we belong. Okay. Get these out of here. You all get down in there. And then we're going to put the box back on. Got a couple of wayward girls over here trying to figure out what just happened. I'm gonna help you out a little bit here.
Oh, there's handles, right?
Is that a bee brush I could use?
No.
Pretty good. I squished one little girl. Sorry, little girl. That's too bad. And you notice the most important thing, they just want to get back home. They just want to get back in their box. They don't know why the world's turned upside down on them. Just not happy. I can't get this queen excluder to be flat or flush with it. There it is. That's good. This- All right, I think that's good for now. All right, I think that's it. Everybody's back in again. Everybody's mostly happy. We'll put the lid on. Thumbs up.